Kwesi, will this apostrophe nonsense ever stop?
But Randy, it has to stop. You know, I'm really amazed, you know, that a debate like this will be started at this time, you know, of our national life, when everything is going haywire. And I was wondering what the president was seeking to profit, you know, from starting such a needless, you know, debate. Right now, what is the point? Nkrumah was not the founder of Ghana, and so what? How does that affect the rate of inflation? How does that affect escalating prices? How does that affect anything? And to think that it is the president who initiates this debate is extremely worrying. You know, there's so many things that the president should focus on. And rather than focus on those things, his focus is on who is the founder of Ghana. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, these matters have been settled by the historical record. They've been settled by our practice. They've been settled everywhere. So why ignite this debate? You know, what is the basis of this? And this whole argument that, you know, Nkrumah is not the only founder, no nation can be founded by one person and so on. By extension, where would it end? Are we going back to the Aborigines Rights Protection Society? Are we going back to the heroes and sheroes who fought against the transatlantic slave trade? Are we back to the days of Yah when she fought to preserve slave routes for Ashanti and so on? Where does it end? Where does it stop? If everybody who made a contribution to the national independence struggle is going to be recognized, where would it stop? Understand? In any case, it is significant that when you talk about the big six, it excludes PAG grants. That exclusion is lost on the president. Understand? This big six, why is PAG grant in the big six? The original promoter of the United Gold Coast Convention is missing from the big six. And yet he finds nothing wrong with that. And then in any case, the historical record teaches us that this whole concept of the big six is a testimony to the intelligence failure of the British colonialists. Their intelligence collapsed completely. Because all of them, except Nkrumah, denied involvement in the rout that led to their arrest. All of them. And indeed, if their denials are true, then there was a huge intelligence failure on the part of the British. And the big six ought to be a celebration of the intelligence failure of the colonial administration at that time. I think this whole debate is completely needless, useless, you know, and we should stop it. Right. You know, apart from the fact that it devalues some of the essential features of our nationhood and sovereignty. Because you cannot be talking about this Founders Day and so on without reference to the degrading of 1st July, you know, because the degrading of 1st July really is an affront to our dignity and sovereignty. But
why so?
Our final independence, the point where our sovereignty was properly and fully established, was July 1, 1960.
That's when we became a republic.
That's when we became a republic. So to downgrade that is to show gross disrespect for our fight for national sovereignty, for our fight for national independence, and actually to devalue our Republican
So, Kwesi, for those who perhaps don't appreciate this point that you're making, we all know that we gained independence on 6 March 1957. Now, you're saying that the event of 1st July 1960 is what really finished the deal about independence for us.
Yeah.
So what was happening between 57 and 1960?
Between 1957 and 1960, the Queen of England, you know, was still the head of state of Ghana. Was still the head of state of Ghana. And like today, in Canada, the King of England is still the head of state. So the sovereignty is not fully established. What happened in 1957, 6 March 1957, was that we gained some partial independence which enabled us to take control of our administrative governance machinery. That's all. In fact, the process started from 1951. In 1951, Kwame Nkrumah became leader of government business. But in 1951, for example, we had no control over our ministries of finance, defense, and foreign affairs. Those portfolios were reserved for the colonial administration. Okay. In 1951, you still had a colonial governor who was stationed in the Christiansborg castles, who was virtually the head of state. In 1957, we went a step further. Nkrumah became prime minister, of the republic, and were responsible. We had a lot more responsibility in terms of running the governance structure of the country and so on. It was on 1st July 1960 that we truly became a republic and could have a president and all the things that come, with the republican status. So, July 1, 1960 is an essential part of the movement towards full independence. That's when we gained our full.
So when did we start singing?
I can't give you the exact date, but that was during the colonial era, when the Queen actually, when the British colonialists firmly established their domination over our politics, over our economics, and virtually, they were in charge, But 1951 is important, 1957 is important, and 1960 is most important. I mean, you cannot claim that you actually support independence for the country. You cannot claim that you value our independence if you downgrade July 1st, 1960.
You have this interesting view, and that view is that you find the issue of the different republics as, for want of a milder expression, as rubbish. And that you think that there's one and only one republic, irrespective of the overthrow of constitutions and all that. But you believe that there is only one. You only become a republic once, and that's the end of the matter. Because coup d'etats don't send you back into colonial rule.
That's absolutely true. We gained our republican status on 1st July 1960, and that status has never changed. Even under military regimes, we were still a republic. So we have only one republic. All these things about second republic and so on was also part of the attempt to devalue the republican status we obtained on 1st July 1960. Otherwise, we've had only one republic. It has never changed. I mean, when Kotuka and others, with the support of the Central Intelligence Agency of the United States of America, seized power in 1960, Ghana did not cease to become a republic. Ghana did not cease to become a republic when, under some circumstances, Buzia was elected as prime minister. It did not cease to be a republic when General Champon took over. Ghana has been a republic from 1st July 1960, and that status has never changed. We have only one republic. We don't have a fourth republic, we don't have a third republic. It's all just...
So the point you make is that even when the constitution is overthrown, I'm trying to understand you, even if the constitution is overthrown by a coup d'etat, and we don't lose our republican status, because incidentally, the leaders of the coup themselves are called the head of state of the Republic of Ghana.
Exactly.
That's the title.
Exactly.
Okay. So that if in restoring democracy, we even have a new constitution, it could still be the 1960 constitution. It could still be the 79 constitution. It could still be the 92 constitution. But that must not lead to a new republic.
Our republican status, which we gained in 1960, is reflected in all the constitutions we have adopted. All of them. None of them attempts to take away the republican status. No coup regime has devalued our republican status. We've been a republic from 1960. We have remained a republic up to today. In fact, the coup leaders themselves assumed the position of head of state.
of the
president.
Republic of Ghana.
Exactly. You cannot be, a head of state. You cannot be, president of a country if indeed you are still under colonial subjugation. So it is clear, as far as I'm concerned, it is clear. We've had only one republic, and that one republic has never changed.
1st July 1960.
1st July 1960.
Okay. All right.